Good morning, welcome at the video of the day of street consulting. It's the morning in San Jose, but I do my mindfulness walk, switching street because something I'm as popular as Tom Cruise. So my video of the day is called Summer 1987. So the summer 1987 for me was very traumatic because I was hospitalized in psychiatry 5 weeks. But I started to do competitive swimming in 1984 after high school. We were 5,000 in the same school. So I said, with competitive swimming, I will have a group or something to rely on. So I was not able to swim butterfly, but I was not able to swim backstroke. I had a talent for breaststroke, a little for crawl, but my God, I'm not a stunt jumper. And so I was doing my medley series, breaststroke, backstroke, breaststroke, crawl. I was not doing the butterfly. So the first year, 1984, 1985, I did 50 meters of breaststroke in 34 seconds. That's 6. It's very fast, but there's no 15 meters of breaststroke in the Olympics or national championship. So after it took 3 years later, when I was at Laval University, I went down from 1 minute 24 seconds at crawl 100 meters, this is 1985. I went down 1987 in March to 1:09. That's becoming to be very fast. I have to cross the street. I think I'm okay that side. Whoop. So I decided to stop. I said I would do 1 year University Laval. After I said I would maybe stop. So in fact, I stopped in March 1987. It was my second semester at my bachelor degree in business administration. So I swam a little in April, and I did an intensive semester in business administration with 2 courses, but it's intensive May and June 1987. So it was 4 evenings from 6:30 to 9:30. 4 evenings in a row from Monday to Thursday. So after 2-3 weeks there, I was always the same classroom, no windows, an air ventilation system. After 2-3 weeks, I started to feel dizzy. Puis sick, puis speedy, febrile, speedy. And after a month, my mother brought me to a psychiatrist at l'Hôtel du Québec, puis he prescribed me some medication. But the feeling, I was continuing my course, the feeling was increasing, puis the medication were not sufficient. So I phoned. They said they was in a holiday, puis it was not possible to have an appointment within 4 or 5 weeks. So in the month of June 1987, I continued. I think I went to a psychotic phase with the delirium. It was aigu, on parle de psychose aiguë. So that's a short one that comes fast and you leave fast with medication. So I was hospitalized the 1st of July 1987. It was the day the loonie was adopted officially in Canada. The $1 in metal. And I met a lot of people there. I cannot tell their personal story, but I saw a lot of people suffering a lot. So I was very surprised that mental illness was just a question of suffering. Alors I accepted my medication right away. I started to have a side effect to be agitated. The medication were not as good as today. So I felt sicker, in fact, than when before I was sick. So I was wondering if I could be able to finish my studies, if I would be able to graduate from my bachelor degree. So it was a lot of stress and anxiety. The psychiatrists were not explaining exactly what was my problem. Was it a phase, immaturity, or something that would go away, something that will go worse? I was very afraid it would go worse. The sickness would take over. I would get very, very sick. So I had started to do a lot of anxiety. The psychiatrists were not explaining anything. So was I gas in those classrooms? But when I arrived in the USA, I had the same exact feeling as 1987, 1989, 1990, 1993 in Canada. The same exact symptom or manifestation without any doubt at 100%. So here it's intoxication by gas in the sun. This morning it's not that bad, but what can I say? I'm in a little street residential. So I'm not aware, nobody ever explained me how it works, for what they use that, so I make deductions. So I went back to the hospital in 1988. I asked them to reevaluate everything, but I spent only 10 days. He said it was a youth phase. He didn't put me on lithium for bipolar disorder. After, in 1989, I was in the same classroom as 1987. Puis in October 1989, I did the same symptoms of intoxication or sickness. So after 1990, it's in November, in the same pavilion. Puis, so there's a pavilion sport, the pool. After the pavilion business administration. After 1993, I was doing my MBA in the same pavilion. Alors, puis later, I got back for my bachelor in theology. So 1996 to 2002. So I had another freaky phase in that period. So it was always at the same place, in the same circumstances, doing the same thing. But here, when I feel like that, I'm not sick, I'm intoxicated. But the doctor, Labrie, psychiatrist, said, when you did the psychose in the past, you're always more susceptible to do another one. So I did a real one because I think the phenomenon was started after the first medication I was prescribed was not sufficient. So I went psychotic. I was already on medication. So I'm very dissatisfied because I accepted the medication very early to the advice of my mother. Puis the psychiatrist at l'Hôtel Dieu failed me all the way because the psychose would have been available. Puis I would have not after. So if they could explain me what kind of product they use in the ventilation system. But here there's a gas that can cause a psychotic event. For sure, if you are in a closed room with no window, they leave you there, you go psychotic automatically. Not because you have a predisposition, but because it's a cause and effect. The gas causes the psychose. You cannot stop it by resting mindfulness or even medication. The medication is helpful, but you have to have a big dose that contradicts the effect of the gas. So it's cause and effect. You breathe it, you go psychotic if you don't do anything. Alors here there's an expression, they psycho people out of a place, for example. Alors, it was in the paper, they psycho them out. Alors, my summer 1987, there was a big thunderstorm when I was in the hospital. Puis, somebody called me there pizza face because I have acne pimples. Puis, there's a young girl who played the Dance of Saber on the piano. Puis, the big storm electric, there was a flooding in Montreal. The sky was very dark. I have to press on the button. Ça, c'est the cheap system of San Jose. So, the storm was exploding all along the St. Lawrence Valley. Puis, with flooding, one of the biggest storms there. I was at the hospital, I remember the thunder, bam, bam, bam in the sky, the lightning, heavy rain. I was hospitalized, not knowing how far it could go, puis not, I was not explained anything. They monitor the medication, after you have to pay a psychologist to do a therapy. The psychiatrists in Canada, they don't do therapy. Alors, they prescribe the medication at the hospital, they stabilize the sickness, but after if you want a therapy, you have to pay for a psychologist. So my mom was a nurse in psychiatry. She graduated, general nurse, registered 1948, puis spécialisée in psychiatry 1950-1952. Puis she worked at Saint-Sacrement Hospital in a clinic, 2 psychiatrists and a nurse, from till 1965. After she resigned, puis to take care of us for children. So she explained me a lot of things. Oh, I have to cross another street. Whoop! Again, the cheap system of San Jose. So that's what my mother told me, that bipolar disorder, you go a little happier and a little sadder than others in a curve. But if you cross the line, you do a psychose, or if you cross the line on the other side, you do a depression. So I thank my mother very much for all she taught me. And today, I feel much better. I have a small dose of medication, just the strict minimum to prevent anything. So what can I say? Alors, c'est ça. Là, I'm completely in North San Jose. So, today, I think I was intoxicated, puis it triggered the psychotic event. I never did the second one in my life because I was taking medication. But since I know there's a gas that causes psychose, event, the anxiety left me, puis I'm not as stressed as before. So I'm much calmer than I was, puis much happier since in the USA. I understand what kind of product they can use to cycle people out of a place. So that was my story of summer 1987.